I invite you to find an aromatherapy oil of your choice, or something natural like a tea bag, a candle, a natural bar of soap, something natural that you enjoy the aroma of. And just get a little bit of that in your hands and rubbing the hands together. And then just take 3 deep breaths. And this sends an immediate signal to our nervous system, because when we're in fight or flight, we don't stop to smell the roses, right? So we send an immediate signal to our nervous system that it's okay to slow down and take in the aroma of something pleasant. So, and that introduces us to our topic for tonight. And on the theme of management, tonight's topic is on time management. So, interesting topic. And we often think that we can be more productive if we're multitasking. So multitasking, in my world, I think of that as semi-tasking, because I'm not putting all of my attention into one place. If I'm multitasking, I'm not fully present anywhere, not really present to any one thing, and only partially present to multiple things. And this frequently leaves us exhausted and unfulfilled. So mindfulness is a practice that supports us in prioritizing our tasks and what is most important, what is essential. Most of us fall into old patterns of saying yes to more than we can accomplish and then feeling resentful. So taking the time for stillness in the day is like the rest in music or the punctuation in an article or in writing. It helps us to get a perspective and to really check in with ourselves on how we want to be spending our time and where we want to say yes and where we want to say no and what's most important to us, so we choose to spend our time in a way that is building the life that we desire. So we're going to start with a breathing meditation that is associated with a clock. And so I'm going to use a little, I have a clock here with a second hand on it. And this is something you can do as an eyes open or eyes closed exercise. And we'll do, so with the eyes closed, we're gonna do a 6 count in breath and a 6 count out breath. So just a nice balanced breath. Feel that there's a slight pause in between. And after 2 minutes, you'll have taken 10 breaths, just 10 breaths. So our only goal in this is just to breathe and know that we are breathing. Taking the time to become present with yourself actually gives us time, as opposed to taking away time from tasks. We think, oh, I can't possibly fit that in. That'll be taking time away from other tasks I want to do. But when we take time to breathe and be still and do just that one thing for just 2 minutes, it actually gives us perspective. It calms our nervous system. And when the nervous system is calm, it actually allows our executive function, our prefrontal cortex, the decision-making part of the brain, to operate more efficiently, more clearly. So giving ourselves that ability to calm, because when we're in fight or flight, our executive function does not necessarily work well. So to become present is to be mindful of how you're choosing to use your time in the moment. If you continue to breathe consciously for 10 minutes or 10 breaths without your mind going astray, then you've taken a valuable step in the path of practice. And if you can practice conscious breathing for 10 minutes, an important change will take place in you. Any one of us can succeed in this practice of conscious breathing. So let's do the practice. So I invite you once again, just rub the hands together, take a deep breath, reconnect with that aroma that supports you, and then just releasing the hands. And let's take a moment here to just settle into a comfortable seat. Allow the eyes to softly close, if that feels comfortable for you. You can always choose to have the eyes open and then just finding a soft gaze. But do what feels right for you. And we're going to, again, begin by just tuning into the breath, feeling the natural rhythm of the breath. And then breathing in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In breath 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out breath 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then continuing at your pace, counting 5 more rounds. You can use your hand to count rounds. 6 count in breath, 6 count out breath. And then a cleansing breath, just deep breath in, long, slow breath out. And we're going to continue. You have 2 hands. I'm going to count 10 breaths now. Again, focusing on the breath. 6 count in breath, 6 count out breath. And then use your fingers to count rounds. Allowing the breath to just be soft and gentle. Aware of slowing your system down. There's nowhere you need to get to. And there's no prize for getting to the end of the 10 breaths. Just enjoying each breath. And for the last few rounds, just see if you can slow your counting just a little bit more and still find ease in your breathing rate. And without yet opening your eyes, as you finish your round, just begin to observe any shifts or changes that have occurred in your body. You can start to notice if any tension has begun to dissolve, if there's any softness in the typical places you hold tension. Has the breath found a new level of ease? Just noticing. Discovering what you notice. You might explore sensations around the belly as you breathe in and breathe out. And I'll share some affirmations as you stay in that space. And you can choose to adopt one of these affirmations or formulate it so it feels right for you. I tackle one thing at a time, approach it mindfully, and see it through to completion. I breathe and I know that I am breathing. I prioritize what is essential, including time for me in my schedule. So as you're ready, beginning to bring your awareness back, deepening the breath. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. And we'll do some chair yoga practice this evening. So finding your way to a comfortable seat. A little bit closer here. And we'll start with just some neck and shoulder stretches. So I was sharing as we were getting started that we just had a cool first cool fall night last night. And I think I slept with my shoulders up and it's been a little tight today. So maybe some of you have experienced that too. But it's a place where a lot of us hold some tension. So I invite you just to explore maybe just one shoulder at a time or both if that feels good for you. But just start to explore some range of motion there. How might you move just that shoulder? Explore moving it forward and then back and down, or back and up and forward and down. Just noticing if one feels more appealing than the other. And if you do it nice and slow, you might even discover one side, differences from one side to the other. Like, oh, what feels different on this side? When I move forward and back, is one side a little creakier than the other? And just letting your shoulder move. Noticing, again, without judging that it should be any different than the way it is. It just is. Great. And then let's bring the hands to toward the back of the chair, or you might place them on the side of the back of the chair or to the seat of the chair behind you. It's up to you. And allowing the shoulders to soften down, and then just start to find a little side to side movement with the head. And again, noticing where that point of resistance is. And again, being that witness, that observer of sensations, noticing what's happening, again, without any judgment. And you'll discover, or you might discover, where that point of resistance is, where that point is of like, oh, can't go any further, no need to force or push. But noticing where it is on one side and then the other, and what tells you that that's the point of resistance? Where does the messaging come from? Where do you feel the, no, that's enough? And is it different from one side to the other? And again, just noticing that. And then as you come back to center, I invite you just to release the hands, bringing the hands to the lap, and then experimenting with pouring the ear over toward the shoulder. And you could stay there, or maybe reach one hand down, creating a little more space. So if you're pouring right ear toward right shoulder, that left hand would reach down. Then you might experiment with just slightly lifting the chin. Just, again, exploring sensation. What happens in my body when I just lift my chin just a little, or if I lower my chin just a little? Is there a place where you enjoy the sensation more? Or where there's just less sensation, where you don't enjoy the sensation? And inviting yourself to explore it just as sensation. And we don't necessarily have to label it good or bad, right or wrong. And as that exploration starts to feel complete, just coming back to the center and reaching the opposite arm down, maybe pouring the ear towards the left ear toward left shoulder. Experimenting, if you like, reaching down with that right hand. And let's just being curious, letting this be an exploration, a search for sensation. What happens when I lift? What happens when I lower? What happens when I just add a little gaze up? Just following that sensation, following your own inner sense of the experience. And whenever that exploration starts to feel complete, again, just coming back to neutral. And so let's find another way to explore the shoulders, just bringing the arms out wide, and then bring one arm over the other, giving yourself a little hug. And letting the fingertips move up. So there's different ways to do this. You could just draw that arm down and across using the opposite arm to draw it down, exploring sensation here as you relax the shoulder, or wrapping the arms around. There's no right or wrong. Again, it's an exploration of sensation. And you might explore lowering the elbows and what that does, and lifting the elbows and how that changes the sensation. And as we continue to explore here, you might feel called to move the head in opposite, from side to side, looking from one side, noticing sensation, coming to center. And when you're ready, looking to the opposite side and noticing sensation. Lifting elbows, lowering elbows, even if it's just a micro bit. And again, as that exploration feels complete, releasing the arms down. And then bring the arms wide. Let's bring the opposite arm under. So again, you can use that hand to draw that arm across and down, or wrap the arms around, choosing what feels best for you. And just noticing how this feels a little different than the twisting in the opposite direction with the other arm underneath. And finding the micro movements that might make this exploration more interesting. So again, you might lift or lower the elbows, even by just a ½ inch. Just a tiny bit, but not measuring it by the distance as much as measuring it by your internal experience of the sensations as you move. And again, exploring the movement of the head, noticing if the shoulders are starting to hike up, and if there's any space for softening the shoulders. Let your experience be your guide, so that as that exploration feels complete, you're releasing the hands down. And then let's explore taking a little twist. So bringing that right hand behind you, again to the chair. You might bring it to the back of the chair or to this back of the seat. And then the opposite hand to the outside of that right knee. Wherever it feels appropriate for you. And again, softening the shoulders. And exploring what it feels like to let the back round a little or to kind of sink into yourself versus letting the crown of the head reach up as if it could almost touch the top, touch the ceiling. Just noticing the difference in your body as you explore these ways of being in this posture, in this form. And as that exploration feels complete, we'll come back to center and then twist in the opposite direction. And reaching back behind you with that left arm. Right hand is going to support you. Support that twist. And again, let there be that exploration of sensation. What happens in your body if you round, chin toward chest and back rounding? What happens in the body as you lengthen the spine? What sensations do you notice If the shoulders are more up by the ears, or if the shoulders are relaxing down. And then you might also explore where you have sensation moving the head, back, looking back behind you, to the side, or out in front, or up above, or looking down toward the floor. And noticing anywhere along that path where the sensation gets interesting. And as that exploration feels complete, coming back to center. And so let's turn to the right on your chair. Now, you can choose to do this. We're going to do Warrior 2. You can choose to do this in your chair, or you can choose to do this standing. It's up to you. So if you're going to do this in your chair, we're going to bring the right thigh to the whole front edge of the chair, the whole right thigh to the front edge of the chair, so that that left leg can drop down and reaching back. Good. And then you can explore reaching the arms up. Oh, I said Warrior 2, didn't I? Whoops, I did Warrior 1. So that would be the chair version. And you can explore either one. If I take the chair out, it's almost the same posture, right? So forward knee, over forward ankle. So wherever there's stabilization for you. And you can again explore sensation here. Explore sensations in the shoulders. Exploring sensations in the legs as they support you. Explore feeling the support in the pose of a chair or standing. And you might explore some movement in the arms and being aware of sensations that arise as you move. And when that exploration feels complete, we'll move to the opposite side. Okay. Transitioning and noticing as we transition what even the transition feels like. In Warrior, we often speak of this form being about courage and focus and determination. And so you could explore what those qualities feel like in you. Feeling courage, for example, or feeling focused. You know, it took a lot of focus when I was doing some decluttering my space, which is our theme from last week. A lot of focus and determination, because times it got messy and I wanted to quit. Right? So focusing. So feeling those qualities, remembering a time when you might have experienced those things and what that feels like in your body. And then coming back as that exploration feels complete. And then we'll do a side-to-side stretch. And so again, this one can also be done standing or seated in your chair. And we'll just take one arm into the air. It doesn't matter which arm. And then we're hinging over to the opposite side. So again, that can be done seated. And if you're standing, very similar. Just hinging over to the side. And when we hinge, we can just become aware of how we might become a little ungrounded in that side we're turning away from, and what it feels like to anchor that side down. We can explore what it feels like to kind of collapse into the side body and to bring some space into the side body on both sides. Good. When that exploration feels complete, we'll just switch and go to the opposite side. Again, letting yourself explore, compressing or feeling the side body close together and feeling the side body with some space, some breath in there. Noticing the sensations and then coming back to center and releasing. And again, we're going to do a pose that can be done either seated or standing as a forward fold. So seated, you might just extend the legs out in front of you, perhaps just coming toward the front edge of your chair. And then just start to hinge coming forward, folding over your legs. And that also can be done standing, with or without the chair for support. Folding forward. You could use the chair. You could explore which option you prefer. You might use the chair for support and fold forward. Noticing sensations in your body. Noticing the feet and the legs. Where you feel the stretch. How you feel your foundation. And when you feel the impulse to uncurl or come out of the pose, out of that form. So one more to and again, you can reach for the back of the chair. Oftentimes when we fold forward, I my spine. I'm just noticing what your body wants, what needs. To our embodied experience supports us in being aware of the signals that our body sends us all the time. Exploration. You could shifts or changes the sensations in that stretch. You might explore again, moving that away. And if you notice a tight place, a place where there's maybe a little more tension. I have a little bit on the left side of my neck this evening. You could explore taking the breath as if you could imagine sending the breath into that place. And feeling a little expansion. With the breath. Again, just noticing if that would support you. Noticing what sensations you experience. And as that exploration feels complete, we will wrap up our time together this evening by doing a little rest. So you are welcome to set yourself up well. You might choose to do a seated meditation, or you might lay flat on the floor. One of our fan favorites is, of course, lying on the floor with the feet up on the chair. So feel free to set yourself up well. If I lay down, you're not going to see me. And I might not get up. You won't need to see me anyway. You're going to rest. So, yeah, take the time to set yourself up well. Take the time. Give yourself permission to enjoy the luxury of comfort. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's something that we all can benefit from. And again, tuning into the breath. And letting yourself just become aware of the sense of sound. Just becoming aware of the sense of sound. And all of the sounds that you hear from far, far away. What's the farthest sound you can hear? Outside the building that you're in. And letting your ears just be filled with sound. Letting it be an exploration of sounds. Far away and then somewhere in the middle. Maybe just outside the building you're in. And then even the sounds in the room that you're in, including the sound of my voice. And the sound even as close as your own breath, your own heartbeat. Exploring the experience of sound. And then shifting your awareness to the sense of smell. Just noticing sense of smell. Maybe there's some residual of the aroma that we chose at the beginning. Maybe the smell of the kitchen. Noticing what smells, might even be just sort of nondescript smells of the house or the room that you're in. Being aware of smells. And then shifting your awareness now to the sense of taste. The sense of taste. Just noticing what tastes. And without necessarily needing to label it, but just noticing, exploring. your taste buds, the feeling, taste. And then shifting your awareness yet again to the sense of touch. Feeling the air on your skin, feeling the ground beneath you, feeling the sensation of clothing or blanket against your skin, feeling the hair on your neck or on your face. It's really noticing that sense of touch. And shifting the awareness once again to now the sense of sight behind closed eyes. What colors or shapes do you experience? A blank screen? Are there any textures to it? Just exploring what you experience, what you see behind closed eyes. Without having to have any attachment to the passing shapes and forms that emerge and then disappear. And then shifting your awareness yet again to the internal experience, the interior of the body, and what you experience inside your body. Sensations, the pulsation of the heart beating, breath. Just noticing those bodily sensations, letting your awareness do an exploration of sensations in the body. And then shifting the awareness once again. Now to just the mental activities of the mind. Noticing thoughts that come into the mind. Mental activities of the mind. Could be thoughts or memories, hopes, beliefs. Becoming aware of what enters your mind, inviting any mental activity to come into your awareness. Might be images, longings, attitudes, intentions. Welcoming anything that shows up. Just being aware of what shows up. Or just being observing of these without attachment. Witnessing the thoughts that come in. Witnessing the memories or hopes or beliefs. And giving particular attention to how these characteristics or these mental activities arrive and depart. By focusing your awareness on the people who are physically near you, physically close to you, those who you feel close to, family and close friends. And then to others whom you're engaged with, such as coworkers or students or teachers. And then widening out your sense of connection from there to include those who live in your neighborhood, those who live in your city or township or village. And then widening out from there to those who live in your country. And our continent. And to the whole world. And finally to all living beings on planet Earth. And just feeling this experience of connection to all, this interconnectedness. And now I invite you to return your awareness to your breath and begin to slowly bring your awareness back, deepening the breath. When you're ready, bringing some movement into the body. And if you're lying down, eventually rolling to one side and finding your way to seated. And as you come to seated, just noticing your experience of yourself in this moment and how that might have shifted from this practice this evening. And okay. And if you'd like, we can close with a one word, one descriptive word